So this one's gonna be a little bit of a longer one. So I mean, grab yourself some snacks. Put this on in the background while you're, I don't know, getting ready for work or something, or getting ready to go hell dive. When I look at it compared to older games, or even some newer games, there's just things that, and maybe it's not even just games, right? I feel like there's things in games that a lot of us want that you just don't find in almost any game. But maybe that's just me personally, and maybe that's for another video. But yeah. So for Helldivers, I feel like there's improvements that could be made, right? Like I remember when I first played Helldivers 2, last year, and the new player experience on it is great because everything is just so, well, for lack of a better word, alien to you, that it feels really, really cool, right? You're discovering, like, you're going on these planets. Each one is always different. Like, they look incredible with the vistas. You're fighting these either giant robots or giant bugs, and now you're fighting, actual intergalactic teleporting aliens and all that with the Illuminate. So there's a lot to it, especially for new players going into it. But the issue is, as you'll hear from anybody who's played it for, past the new player experience, is there starts to not be enough to do. And anybody who's played the game for a while, they understand that, and they've kind of heard this, and Arrowhead has heard the complaints, but I just feel like they're not hearing it enough, because it's like, the thing is, they're a game company. They have investors, they have people that, want them to succeed and make more money so that they can make more money, right? They want to go do what they do. But the thing is, you want the game to be better, but you're slowly chipping away at the things that the players want. You're not actually, you're doing it piece by piece, little by little, so that over the course of the next 3 years, maybe, it'll finally be the game that people want. The thing is, I feel like it doesn't have to be all that. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I don't know, because I'm not in, the developer room. I'm not there creating the levels and the armor sets and whatnot. But the thing is, like, and I've made a video on this before, like just a short or whatnot, but Halo was doing it 10 years ago, where you could customize any part of your armor color, or you could change what each armor piece looked like. Arrowhead has been talking about it for, since last year, 2024, about adding in armor customization. We still don't have it. And that's only one piece of it. And Halo Reach, and I've shown it before, I'm sure plenty of people have talked about it, but Halo Reach is like the greatest example for how Helldivers customization could be, especially because, the graphics and the way how the games look is so similar already. Like, if we were able to, if you look at, like, I can't think of the name of the armor that I'm thinking of, maybe I'll put it on screen, but you can change the headpiece off from, like, the standard Helldiver helmet, the B01 or whatnot, and then add on, the laser sight that goes onto the side of the helmet or something, or add on an extra extension onto your shoulder pad so that, your right arm looks bulkier. And there's even things with that, right? Like, they could actually go further in depth with it, so that, because me, I'm a heavy user. I wear heavy armor. Not that it makes any difference, you still die to anything in this game, but it would be nice if you were able to be like, oh, I want to put these knee pads on, or put this leg armor on, and then it increases your health by another 30 points or whatnot. Isn't that what most games do? Isn't, like, that's how builds are made in most other games. but we settle for it in Helldivers for what reason? Because they have armor sets, so we're supposed to say, that's what it's set to. Every heavy armor in the game is going to be 150. Like, brother, no. It's just, it doesn't need to be that way. Maybe I'm overly critical thinking, but I feel like there's just so much more potential here on the table for this game that is just sitting on the table that they're not doing. And that's just one thing. That's some little parts of the armor customization. Now, I will say I do feel like they're getting a bit better with where they're trying to go with the direction, but it just takes them so long to do anything that by the time we do get great stuff, people might be playing GTA 6, and GTA 6 might let you be in outer space fighting aliens, and at that point, what is Arrowhead gonna do, right? Because GTA 6 has the euphoria physics, like, anyways, whole point being, there's a lot to what Helldivers could be, right? They just added the Into the Unjust update back in like August, and now everybody gets to go and fight underground, fight the Terminids in their bug holes and whatnot. That sounds crazy. In their hives, fight them in their hives, and it's cool. You know, this is what people have been asking for since like towards the beginning. They've been asking for, you know, let us go and fight enemies on their base and whatnot. Let us have interiors and whatnot. But the game came out a year and a half ago, and we just got this. It took them almost a full year, maybe longer, to get the Illuminate into the game. So that's another thing I would love to see, though, just to stay on topic, is for us to be able to see interiors, right? I want to be able to fight like on an automaton ship, like inside of a giant automaton like facility or something, where you have to actually use the cover and whatnot. Like, not to, you know, comparison is the thief of joy, and it's a great quote for a reason, but not to compare it to Forever Winter, but when I see clips of Forever Winter, it makes me want to play Helldivers because of the tone and whatnot of that game. But then I go and play Helldivers and it's completely different, right? Because you're not that oppressed. You have to literally dumb down your loadout if you want to feel like a scavenger. And that's because you're not supposed to. In Helldivers, you're supposed to be this almost super soldier. You're the fighting force for Earth, correct? But then you get killed from 3 bug slaps. You get killed from a backhand from a fucking robot, and he throws you across the room. But I feel like that just circles back to what I was saying before. You know, the stats and whatnot could be improved. We should be able to see it where you add on different armor pieces and it increases your health, but obviously it's going to decrease your speed, right? That is a fair trade-off. Most people would love that. And I also think most people don't just want to walk around in that one big green heavy armor set that's the only one that has 200 health, right? But yeah, could you imagine, like, guys, like, could you imagine how cool it would be to be fighting in an automaton facility, and like you can see like machines in the background where they're creating more automatons, and where, like, you know, behind like this glass and whatnot, that they have, like, you know, human prisoners that they're doing whatever they do. You've seen the biocompressors or whatever. And maybe you're even able to get into that room to try and save people, right? Extra objective, save the hostages. At, like, bro, so much potential with this game that isn't being used. And this is stuff like they already have in procedural generation, right? With their worlds. So it's like, if they were to, right, allocate some of their resources and some of their time towards making maps and missions that are designed around being indoors for the automatons, have them be procedurally generated so that, you know, it's going to look a little bit different, but it's all got the same nooks and crannies. Bro, that would be awesome. Like, can you imagine? Like, it would be... And then for the Illuminate, like, I mean, yeah, there's still, like, a lot with the Illuminate that they haven't shown us, apparently. Like, there's other enemy types, and whatnot. But if we were able to get it where we were able to fight on an Illuminate homeworld, which, you know, I'm sure that's coming at some point. Maybe we'll do like a warp to whatever their area of the galaxy is or something. But you know, before we even get there, like, if we were able to just fight them like on a giant ship, right? Like, if they had like a giant like world destroyer ship or something, and our mission was like land on the ship and pull some Master Chief fly off from the ship with the bomb thing, right? That would be so sick. That would be awesome, and that would have the player count jump, right? And I feel like that's something that I'm sure like a lot of Halo players miss when they get into Helldivers. Is it's like, yes, we are able to like make our own stories and like everything's canon, right? But we don't get like any cutscenes. You know, you'll play Call of Duty and I mean, listen, I don't play Call of Duty, but the point is, even if you were to like get to the end of a match in Call of Duty, they always do their little cutscene where like you flip your gun around and they're like, oh, this guy got the most shots or did this or did that. Like, they always try and make it cinematic. A lot of games lack cutscenes these days, but a lot of games aren't Helldivers, and this game has the potential to be number one trending everywhere every day. But it takes them 6 months to change a stat to make you be 5% beefier or something. Like, they don't do enough quick enough. And I know people say this, but I felt I had to say it too. Enemy factions. You know, I keep seeing stuff about enemy factions too. And one really cool one that I've heard of is like war dogs or something like that, like hell dogs, and that sounds super sick. I'll put on some images on screen if I can find it, but yeah, it sounds super cool. It's like you'd be fighting against some like dog people or something, I think. But the easiest faction that I feel everybody overlooks, and I mean, maybe this is just me. Wait, no. I have seen the people talk about it. Well, anyways, the Rebel faction, right? Everybody talks about doing some sort of Rebel faction. And why haven't we done it? Like, whenever you get shot in the back by one of your teammates and, you know, your arm flies off or something, like, yeah, you're mad because it's dumb, and why did, you know, like, bro, get good, right? But the thing is, like, at the same time, like, Arrowhead already has physics and whatnot in place for human-sized characters. So, like, adding that into the game, like, adding us, like, have a faction where we just fight humanoid enemies, it's such a plug-and-play easy thing that I don't see why they don't do it. I completely don't see why they don't do it. And it would give us that, like, Forever Winter feeling even more as well, right? Because then you could have it be with, like, maybe a Rebel faction, and then they have, like, another upgraded force when you get to, like, you know, Super Helldive. And then they have, like, a more militaristic, like, version of the Rebels that's, like, you know, able to combat the Helldivers. Everybody knows who it is, right? The Chaos Divers. Bro, if we were out there fighting Chaos Divers, and, like, okay, maybe that's not the right way to put it, because I'm pretty sure Chaos Divers are not supposed to be, like, evil or whatnot. I kind of forget the lore. But whatever the ones are that are, you know, actively the ones that hunt down Helldivers, you know what I'm talking about. Put it in the comments. But, yeah, if we were, like, or even if it wasn't, like, an actual, like, established faction, because I also imagine Arrowhead doesn't want to mess with something that people put like hours into to create their own lore for. Even if they made their own like military thing, bro, have us fight like, you know, something that looks like the Jinro guys, you know, how we had that come into the game. That would be awesome. Just some sort of military force that feels oppressive, similar to how the Helldivers do, but it would be like fighting a mirrored version of ourselves. That would be insane. That would be like super fucking sick. Weapon customization, it's super simple right now. I don't even want to talk too much on it. I feel like everybody knows what could be improved on it. Like, why is it so bare bones? And why is it only a couple guns? They say that they're going to improve it. They've been saying that, I think, like, since all of 2025. I don't remember when they first started it. I'll be honest, I'm not sitting here doing all the journaling. I just wanted to talk about Helldivers because, you know, I care about the game. I want it to do better. But I just wanted to put my opinions out there rather than going and writing a paper on it right now. So, and it's like, I mean, honestly, I might just, you know, edit up the video and put it out just like this, because it's like, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I know that this game has like much more potential than what's shown, right? I wish we were, you know, it's a simple thing, super simple, right? But when Space Marines came out, and then you were able to turn your camera around and look at your character and see the front of your character, and then I go back and play Helldivers and you turn the camera around and like you turn around, not a big deal, but it would be cool if, you know, because I mean, I play without any of the HUD on, and it would be cool to be able to turn, you know, the camera around, see your character, see the landscape, be like, you know, damn, that looks sick. Continue on, right? Go kill some bugs. Like mission types. If we could have like, you know, mission types, that would be. I mean, we obviously we already have mission types, but if they were to expand on it, right? Just give us. Obviously, we have stealth divers, right? We've been hearing about that since the beginning. There's people who just actively like to like play the game in a stealthy way. They've gotten no love, as far as I can tell. Like there's the silencer that apparently doesn't work. Like and then if you are to play stealthy with, you know, a group of randoms or whatnot, you might get kicked, right? Because you're gonna be sitting there taking out one enemy, you know, or I don't know how slow it goes for a stealth diver, but the point is, you're not gonna be looked at as being as effective as somebody who just runs into the objective headfirst with a hell bomb, screaming your head off, and blows up the objective. Like, obviously, they're the one who's gonna be, you know, seen as more effective, right? But yeah, if there was like a stealth, like say if there was a mission where you had to go and kind of like deactivate a Illuminate nuke before it's set off in a civilian city, and like you can tell that there's a bunch of Illuminate there and there's still civilians, but it's not like one of the worlds that you land on and it's fully oppressed already. The buildings aren't all destroyed and everything. You're able, and it's like something where you have to try and do it like without getting reinforcements called. If you get reinforcements called on you, then the detonator starts, right? Something like that. That would be awesome. And I know stealth divers would have a field day with that. Like I said, me personally, I play with heavy armor. If we were to do, say, like, I mean, all I want for like heavy armor, like, it's not as simple, but I feel like the armor in general needs a reworking, not just appearance wise, but why is it that only enemy armors have penetration levels, right? and I feel like maybe this is something I need to get to on a whole separate video and leave this one by itself. But why are we treated any different than everybody else? And maybe our armor does have a penetration level, but it's so negligible or not noticeable that no gun is ever going to deflect off from it. No enemy attack is ever going to deflect off from it. Like, there's literally almost no time when you'll see an attack deflect. And if it does, it's like a 1 in a million thing, and it looks weird, right? I think I saw one clip where like a laser beam deflected off from somebody's head somehow, and it was like the only time I've ever seen it. But anyways, like, if we were to, this helmet has a penetration 3, this heavy armor has a penetration 4, like something like that. And maybe that's going a bit too above. Obviously, enemies it can't be a thing where it's like, oh, only one enemy can kill you, right? And they have to hit you in a certain spot. But it's also like, that would make it be more interesting, right? And then figuring out drawbacks to it. So it's like, say you're, and it's what I already went to. Your chest would be more bulky, but your arms are maybe less so, or maybe you have less stamina or whatnot. It depends on how you build up your armor set. Or if they were to do the rework, it would depend on if your arms are set for like a armor pen 2 or armor pen 3, things like that. And I would say the last thing that I feel that Helldivers could use, and yeah, just the last thing I feel like Helldivers could use, and it's something that a lot of people expected, is a hub, right? A lot of us thought that we were going to get a hub, like some sort of player interactive area with the Democracy Space Station. We didn't. We got a giant, supposed to be Death Star that everybody hated for a while because it killed us, and then eventually now it kind of works okay, but I mean, I still get blitzed by it sometimes. I absolutely hate playing on maps with that thing. So it'd be, the idea is still out there. I'm sure there's still people who would think it's awesome if one day Arrowhead just dropped an update and they're like, hey, the Democracy Space Station's open for Helldivers to land, the ports are open, whatever. And then we're able to land on there. And, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but like, imagine they actually went within, the lore of the world, right? So you're able to do some stupid stuff where you sit down at a table with your friends and you like do the 5-finger knife trick, right? Or you're like, you're getting a cup of Liberty. They give you a couple like small cutscenes. It doesn't have to be an actual full-blown cutscene, but like, the type of ones that still use the in-game character models and whatnot, where it just shifts the camera view and makes you feel a bit cooler than it does watch. You get the point. There's a lot that could be done with Helldivers. Love the game. I got too many hours on it. Hopefully more than 5 people see this. Maybe not. Maybe they will. If you like this, if you agree with anything, like, comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. But yeah. Catch you guys on the next one. So, real quick. I know I already yapped, like, a lot. But another thing I remembered. Stealth mode. Like, if they had, like, a stealth game mode where, like, you had to hide from, like, I know I already mentioned for like stealth players, but like a stealth mode where you had to like hide from the Illuminate, or like, hide from the Terminids, where like there's like, you have maybe just a pistol, the camera is like a bit more zoomed in or something, and it's like, I don't know, there's still an objective, like you have to escape or something. Make it something similar to like Alien Isolation, like the Terminator can pop out and stuff, but that way it's not just or have it be, but if it's a bunch of Terminids and you're killing them, then it's just gonna be the same as anything else, right? So it has to be like one or a few that are like extremely deadly threats that you can't handle or you can barely kill. Like you have to like find a shotgun somewhere or something, and it has to take like the whole clip or something. But yeah,